My maternal grandparents raised me. My parents, dad aged 46 and mom aged 56, are free spirits who did not want to settle down and raise a child. Whatever. I saw them every few months when they would visit. Eventually, they stopped coming. I did not miss them. My grandmother and grandfather were my parents. I am getting married in March, and all my invitations have been sent out. I invited my parents as guests, but they are not part of the wedding or anything like that. I was not going to invite them, but my grandfather asked me to please let my biological mother be a part of my special day. About a week ago, I spoke with my biological father. He wants a +1 on their invitation. I had not seen him in years, so I thought maybe they had another child and had not mentioned it. Nope. Apparently, he and my mother have a man in his 30s who is part of their relationship. While neither myself nor my fiancé are particularly religious, and I have no objections to polygamous relationships in general, I would prefer not to have to deal with that at my wedding. I told him that he and my mother were invited as a courtesy, but they have no parental privileges for me to consider. He said that excluding their partner was mean, and that he would not have left me with my grandparents if he knew they would raise me to be prejudiced. I have spoken with both sets of my grandparents about this, and nobody knew anything about this. It seems like they were planning to use my wedding to introduce this man to the families. I called him back and was very firm. I told him that I had spoken with my wedding coordinator and ensured that no uninvited guests would come to my wedding. Since we are having the reception at a resort hotel in my city, there will be security. I also spoke with the manager and explained that I might have uninvited guests trying to get into my wedding reception. He said that security would escort anyone like that off the property and call the police if needed. All of this was relayed to my parents. Now they are complaining to everyone. I am dealing with it by telling everyone who calls me to fight for them exactly why I am excluding the person they want to bring. I just talked to my mother, and she screamed at me for telling people about her private business. Am I the idiot? Not the idiot. This is not private business. They want to parade their specific situation at your wedding. Their situation and actions are so out there that I do not even know what to say. Seriously, OP's mother was an almost 30-year-old woman sleeping with a barely legal adult and then not taking care of the child. She lost her right to privacy when she tried to intrude on your wedding. And how do they not understand that they are not entitled to anything from you? This is all pretty mind-blowingly bad for a 40-plus and 50-plus-year-old. That was my thought as well. The mother is only mad because they were planning to use your wedding to introduce this man to the families. I am upset because they were definitely going to use the wedding to showcase their relationship. It is frustrating that they are upset about their private business being shared, yet they want to publicly display it at someone else's wedding. I am actually laughing to myself at their audacity. Poor OP, I hope you can find humor in this situation later on. Putting aside the polyamorous aspect for a moment, it seems like your parents are trying to steal the spotlight from your wedding. That is disrespectful and a valid reason to not want them there. They should be there to celebrate you, not to boast about their own excitement. You can tell them that they can send holiday cards to announce their happy news, but your wedding day is about you and your partner. I love you, and we would not have abandoned you if we knew you would be raised like this, as your lying dad told you. You should respond with, "But you did abandon me, and these are the consequences." I am still shocked that your dad had you at 19 with a 29-year-old woman. Based on the fact that their new partner is in their 30s, we can assume that your mom likes younger men. You do not owe your parents anything. They are lucky to even receive an invitation. It is your wedding, so even if your decisions seem irrational, it is your right to make them for your special day. Moving on to a different topic, I have been taking care of my nephew and niece, my sister's 2 children, who are in their preteen and tween years. Their school unexpectedly closed for 2 days due to maintenance issues, so I watched them while my sister was at work. My sister and the children's father are no longer together, as he now lives and works in a different country. My sister is a vegan and quite militant about it, always nagging my mom and me about eating non-vegan food in our own homes, even when she is not there. She even returns toys that I have bought for my nephew and niece for their birthdays and Christmas. She plans to let her children decide if they want to become fully vegan when they are older. It is important to note that her children are not 100% vegan yet, but she is okay with them eating non-vegan food at friends' houses and birthday parties. On the first day, my sister packed a vegan lunch for the kids to eat at my house, but they did not like it. They did not finish all the food and my sister blamed me. I think they saw some chocolate that I had and got upset. I know the children have been teased at school for their vegan diet and wanted to try the same foods as their peers. On the second day, my sister was in a rush and could not make anything for the kids. During lunchtime, I was cleaning out my freezer before going grocery shopping, so I gave them 2 pizzas, a barbecue chicken pizza and a cheese pizza. The plan was to give them the cheese pizza. If I give my sister's kids non-vegan food, but suitable vegetarian food, she doesn't get as upset, and I would pick at the barbecue chicken pizza. The barbecue chicken pizza was quite big, and I did not offer it to the kids. But if the kids did have a few slices of the barbecue chicken pizza, then I wouldn't stop them. They have been and will be given a choice. Both of the kids did end up taking a couple of slices of the barbecue chicken pizza. Sister asked what the kids had eaten. The kids seemed quite cheerful when she came to collect them. They told her what they had eaten, and she asked to see me inside the house. She became angry with me, saying that the kids should have known about the dangers of the meat on the barbecue chicken pizza first, and that they should have had controlled permission before having a slice. Whatever that means. I mentioned that the kids aren't 100% vegan and have similar foods to the barbecue chicken pizza when they go to friends' birthday parties. She stormed off, saying that I was rude about leaving the pizza open, and indirectly calling me a danger in the family group chat, as if I was letting her kids stick forks in plug sockets, rather than letting them eat a bit of pizza. She's the youngest, so a few family members took her side by default. They're not vegan either and are giving me a hard time about it. What do you think? Dear sister, I'm sorry you feel I've put your kids in danger. However, as I would never want anything to happen to my dear nephew and niece, you should find a different babysitter from now on. Gotta go now. We're having a barbecue. Not the idiot OP. She got 2 full days of free childcare. Next time, say no. This isn't an allergy or intolerance issue. It's a personal choice she's made. If she wants the kids to have a specific diet, she should ensure that she provides it. You are doing her a favor by providing childcare. This is why vegans are considered idiots. You can't force people to do what you want and not expect pushback. Kids eat what they want, and when it's denied, they'll push harder. While I'm not saying this to let them eat and drink poisonous chemicals, the food that they want should be experienced to find out who they are and what they like. I, a 20-year-old female, just started working at a new job a few weeks ago. Everything has been smooth sailing with my coworkers, all fun, cool people, until yesterday. For a little context before I get into it, my assistant manager, Sherry, who is 45 years old and female, has a son named Travis, who is 19 years old and male. When I first started working and met her, the topic of relationships came up, and she asked if I was single. I told her yes. I got out of a long-term relationship this past July, and I'm considering jumping back into the dating pool. She told me her son was around my age and we would probably like each other, and asked if I'd be interested. I told her to let me think about it and that I'd get back to her. That was about 6 weeks ago. A couple of weeks ago, I decided that going on a couple of first dates or outings with new people couldn't be too bad of an idea. So I told Sherry to let Travis know I was interested if he wanted to meet for coffee or something to test the waters. But I probably wouldn't be free until just after the new year because I'm busy with work, personal and family stuff. She said that sounded fine. And then yesterday happened. Sherry was talking about their kids in the back room with 2 of my other coworkers who were also moms. At some point, they were making jokes about spoiling their kids, and Sherry said, Travis doesn't even make himself a sandwich. He just goes into the kitchen and sits there and pouts, because he knows Mama will come and do it for him. I rarely use this term, but I absolutely felt disgusted by that. I asked her if she was being serious, and she laughed and said, yes, he's just a mama's boy. As we were leaving later, I pulled her aside and told her I wasn't interested in going out with her son anymore. After she pressed me about why several times, I admitted that the sandwich thing turned me off, and that I would never go out with a man who seemed so dependent or unwilling to do things himself. Sherry got upset and told me that I'm not a mom and don't know what I'm talking about, and that surely I don't expect my parents to still do things for me. She stormed off. I'm getting off my break here in a minute, but she hasn't spoken to me all day, and I'm wondering if I'm in the wrong here. Was I the idiot? I guess she's sick of making his sandwiches and is hoping I'll take over that role. It was completely inappropriate for her to suggest it in the first place. In my opinion, you are not the idiot. But next time, tell the people who want to set you up on a blind date with a friend or relative. Thanks. But I don't mix work with personal, or thanks, but if things don't work out, I don't want to put you in an uncomfortable position. Exactly this. She wants to pass him off to the next woman. OP, my only criticism is that you should have said no from the beginning to situations like this. If you had gone on a date and found him lacking, then I'm sure your colleague would have reacted the same way. Not well. How dare anyone not love her precious baby boy? Oh no, she won't stop this. She'll boss and bully whoever ends up with him. They'll never be up to mom's standards. At 20, I assumed people older than me knew better than me. I was shocked to read that a 45-year-old would pull this at work. But now that I'm older than that, I shouldn't even be a little shocked. LOL. Don't get your honey where you make your money. Absolutely cracked me up. Hon, you're 20 and still learning about all these things? The assistant manager should have known better, though this situation is on her. But based on what you mentioned about her relationship with her son, her behavior is wholly unsurprising. It sounds like she struggles with boundaries. You're not totally naive, though. If you had the wisdom to avoid a huge mama's boy, keep that up for sure, and you'll thank yourself later. Update. Thank you to everyone so far who has provided their feedback. I just got home from work a few minutes ago, and I've been trying to read through all the comments, answer any questions, or provide clarification. I completely agree with all of you who said I shouldn't have agreed in the first place. That was absolutely my mistake, and I was entirely naive about how things would play out. It seemed totally innocent and not a big deal to me, and I'm very much used to older women in my life trying to set me up with their sons. It's not something I've had to confront in the past 4 years, because I could say I'm taken, but now that I'm single and open and trying to meet new people again, it's not easy to navigate. I guess I didn't think much of it since I haven't dated anyone new since I was 16. And I still look at these new dating situations like I'm still 16. Either way, I'm not mixing work with personal matters like that ever again. I've learned my lesson. My son B doesn't like men and never has. I don't know why. She loves the men in our family and can obviously work with men casually and professionally, but when it comes to personal relationships, absolutely not. Her male friends lasted only a short time. The only personal relationship I've ever seen her have with a man that wasn't part of our family was with her late husband. They married right out of college until he passed away almost 3 years ago. She's never expressed interest in dating men since. My husband's brother Rick has always struggled with dating. He always liked Bea and didn't hide it. About a year after Bea's husband passed, he begged my husband and me for approval to try to go out with her. I didn't want him to, because she's never expressed interest in dating anyone since, and it would make things awkward either way. But my husband convinced me to give it a try, because they were both lonely, and it was just a question. So I did. I told Bea, who obviously wasn't interested, but said she'd be fine turning him down gently if she didn't have to be alone. So we planned to have dinner for just the 4 of us at a local Chinese buffet. As we thought, Rick spent all night trying to flirt with Bea. I'm not sure if it was the food or not, but she was starting to feel unwell, and it seemed like it would be okay with some time and air. We finished dinner and walked over to a park. When he finally asked her out, she opened her mouth to respond and threw up. Not a little bit either, like a full stomach. Clearing out. He tried to laugh it off, but she just said, "I'd rather not," before apologizing profusely and leaving as quickly as possible. The night ended there. Rick is now mad at us for letting him be humiliated like that, and thinks my sister should give him a chance at least. My husband is mad at me for not convincing my sister to go on one date, and his mother thinks I purposely set Rick up to humiliate him and destroy the confidence he had worked so hard to build up. My sister says she didn't vomit on purpose, but she isn't willing to go out with him because she doesn't want to do a pity date. I didn't do anything wrong. I told him it wouldn't work. I got my sister to come out and try, but it all went wrong. Obviously, I didn't know it would be like that, but things happen. You and your sister already went beyond what you were comfortable with, out of politeness. Whether the throwing up was due to nerves, bad food, or something else, it truly seems symbolic of her level of interest. Now, your husband and his brother are becoming obnoxiously entitled and manipulative. If anything, it's your sister who was put out and embarrassed by this whole thing. It sounds like she only came to turn him down gently. They need to back off right now. They both need swift, hard, figurative kicks up the backside. You can't pressure, guilt trip, and manipulate someone into liking you. They need to understand that and let it go. The OP is the idiot for setting up this weird, let him down gently, double non-date. I'm completely baffled as to why he had to be told no in person by the OP's sister, and why the decision was made to do it in a romantic pseudo-date setting of a meal, followed by a walk in the park. Your sister has declined other men several times, including your brother-in-law, and yet 3 people forced her to go on a date. Leave that poor woman alone. The incident is a side issue here, honestly. By ignoring your sister's no, your husband and his brother are crossing the line into harassing her. They also double suck for running to mommy about this. And she sucks for enabling their harassment because, as God forbid anyone says no to her precious little angel. You will be an idiot if you continue to allow the harassment of your sister. I would seriously think about what this situation says about your husband's character. I, 26, recently got married to my wife, 24. We decided for our honeymoon that we would spend a week at my parents' vacation property with a dock and a boat, and then drive to the closest port for a cruise. During our stay at the vacation property, there was an issue with the boat. It was pretty minor, and I told my dad about it. He insisted on coming over to check it out and fix it. He said he would only be there for a few hours and then leave us alone. I told my wife, and she reluctantly agreed, because it was his boat that had the issue. He came over and fixed it. He came over and fixed the boat, and I felt bad, so I offered to go out with him and grab lunch, my treat. I felt bad that he drove 2 hours during a work week to fix up the boat for us to enjoy, and I wanted to treat him to a few beers and lunch. So we left, and we got back after 2 hours. He left, and we went back to our honeymoon. The issue is that after the honeymoon, she complained that I let him invade our honeymoon, and that I even went out with him during our honeymoon. It wasn't an issue, since it was his damaged property, and he made an effort to help us enjoy our time. I feel like it's no big deal. Am I the idiot? Not the idiot. He did us a solid so we could use the boat. It would be different if we went to Bora Bora and he was like, "Surprise, witches!" wearing a straw hat and a pina colada in hand. Your wife needs to get a grip and show some gratitude toward the family she married into. Disagree? You are the idiot. His coming to fix it was nice of him, as is you wanting to thank him, but you could have scheduled to take him out after our honeymoon was over. You took him out to lunch in the middle of our honeymoon. What a terrible idea. Your wife is understandably annoyed about it. Oh my God, how dare I take a few hours to have lunch with my dad, who dropped by to fix our boat for free for us to use. Such a terrible idea. This is ridiculous. If I were in my wife's position, I would be so grateful that he took a day off and drove 4 hours round trip to fix the boat we were using for free. You all act like honeymoons are some sort of sacred ritual. I swear, what kind of BS entitlement are we seeing here? Why didn't she just join us and make a day of it? Dude, I'd be reevaluating my relationship.